Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Sarah, and welcome to the Titan Podcast. Today we're going to talk about social media and the news. Here with us today is Mr. David Blackwell, one of our teachers here. So, Mr. Blackwell, tell us about your experience in media.
Well, this is my 18th year teaching, and prior to that I worked in film and television for about 20 years, so I'm old. I started off in college taking classes in television production, and then when I got out I did a lot of freelance and worked for a few studios and did grunt work and worked my way up a little bit. And then I worked in public access television where I was one of the paid producers, and I produced all the government shows for that area, which was at Multnomah Community Television. And then I also worked as an educational producer and produced all of the shows like Homework Hotline and that type of stuff. So I worked a lot in government with police and fire departments. And then I started advising people in high school as a person from industry, and then they asked me to start teaching, and I worked at Battleground, and then I went to the Vancouver School District and worked at Fort Vancouver and Hudson's Bay, and then in this district I've worked at Mountain View, Union High School, and Evergreen High School.
How often do you watch the news?
The old-fashioned news on television and the newspaper I don't watch as often anymore because it's just not right there at my fingertips. I do try to read something online on my phone or computer every day just to kind of keep up with world news and what's happening.
What's the last thing you read in a newspaper?
In the actual newspaper, I don't think I can tell you, although I will go online to, say, the Columbian or the Oregonian or the New York Times, and if that counts, I just was reading about a police officer who was convicted for like 200 and some odd years for being a rapist, and that was back in Oklahoma.
Why do you think less and less people are actually getting their information from official news reports and the newspaper?
Society nowadays is so now. I want it now. And you have it right at your fingertips. You have them on your watches. Pretty soon you're just going to be like Star Trek and hit your comm badge and ask for something that's going to appear right to you. So I think that's really good. Technology is awesome, and that's what I teach, so that's a good thing. But I also think it's kind of dumbing us down a little bit because we can have everybody's opinion that's not necessarily official news like the old days. I mean, Fox is one way, CBS is that way. I mean, when it comes to the elections, one's more Democrat, one's more Republican, and people listen to only the sides that they want. Where in the old days, journalism was supposed to present both sides and allow you to make your choice, but that doesn't really happen anymore because we have so much media at our fingertips from anywhere in the world that when you find something that you believe in, that's pretty much all you listen to. And so we're becoming more segmented, even though we have more opportunities to have a broad amount of information to us.
In order to draw viewers, it seems that everything on the news is really negative or it's really propagated. So do you think news stations are even credible anymore? Because like you said, the Fox News and all those different news channels have a bias.
I think it's very hard. I think you have to work harder at not being so segmented. To be credible, you need to be able to present both sides. And even doing so nowadays, you can still give just a little bit of your opinion in there. But I don't think we can really be that credible anymore. I think people who are very broad-minded and listen to a lot of different sides, you end up making up your own mind, which is what you should do anyway. But we have so many people that are followers. You know, if you ask them, well, where did you hear that? And I said, well, I don't know, I just heard it on the radio. But they don't know where it came from, who said it. The election stuff, I don't think they should allow people to have campaigns on there because, you know, it says in 19 such and such they did this, and this. And that's the person that wants to be elected. And you go, wow, they're really great. And then you hear another commercial that says, but they voted all these things, but none of it passed because they didn't show up to any of the meetings or whatever that might be. And so you go, wow, I'm not going to vote for them. So who do you believe? They're just giving you their own personal side. And so I kind of think to get away from that and to become more credible, print media is a little bit better because it's a little harder to get out there, and you got to do a better job to have people want to read it.
Being people who can't always be at ground zero and we can't be at every single event, how should we try to find reliable information?
If you every day try to read a little bit, the AP, Wire, a couple different local publications, read some national ones. National national ones tend to be a little bit more credible, like the New York Times. Although they have a bias, either for one side or another, at least you can judge on what they're saying. If they're pretty much the same throughout, and you agree with them or you don't agree with them, you can still find a level of truth in there because you know that they're more biased this way or that way, whatever it's for or against you. If you are just spending a few minutes every day reading about things local, national, international, when things come up, you're going to have a base knowledge that you can be credible from your own information.
Why is it so important to take the time to try to keep up to date if everything is always so much junk?
Well, I remember when I was first trying to get into film, I hooked up with this guy that was kind of my mentor, and he went to UCLA film school, and he was doing all these big movies, and he kind of took me under his wing. And I was like, okay, well, what about this? And what about this? And what about how to edit this and how to do this? And he's like, you need to stop. And you need to just go read everything you can get your hands on. Because he says, you have an interest in this field. When you go out and meet other people, you need to network because they want to be able to chit-chat with you and throw ideas around. At high school age, you have your peers, but you're going to be graduating and your peers are going to go away and you'll get new ones, but now you're more competitive. So for professionalism, to stay ahead of the game when you go into interview and somebody says, hey, how about them Knicks? And you go, what are they? To be able to talk with people and to express your opinion. That's how you're going to network too, is once you've met somebody and you're talking with them, those people that agree with you or like your ideas, that's networking, and they'll go, oh, there's a job coming up I think you'd be great for. So just for that one thing, just for professionalism and getting a job and moving up, that's a good reason to stay informed.
So what would be your message for anyone who is in the industry right now with the news, or for anyone who's interested in going into journalism?
Best piece of information, that guy told me, who cares about journalism? Who cares about editing? You're going to learn that. That's your interest. You will know that. You will be good at that. You need to be worldly. You need to know what's going on at all different levels in your community, statewide, national, and international. It's going to do nothing but positive things for you, and it just makes you a more interesting person. And really, no matter what you go into, it's all about communication.
So our promotion item this week is to get involved with media. Get out there and make sure that when you look at different medias, to just make sure that you pay attention to different biases that they have and try to stay updated. Our challenge for this week is called Survey Says. It's very similar to Family Feud in the sense that I will ask you a question and you're going to try to give me the top answer. So Mr. Blackwell, if Aladdin was flying on his flying carpet but wasn't paying attention, name something he might run into.
A tree.
That's actually the number one answer. Good job.
Can we quit now while I'm ahead?
Name something that tastes better when it's hot.
Popcorn.
That's not on the list. Top answer was coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Name a holiday you would wear special colors for.
Christmas.
That's the top answer. Under that would be St. Patrick's Day. So, yeah.
You can see that.
Name something that people twist.
Their hair.
That's the top answer. And last one. Name something that planet Earth would be better off without.
Smoking.
Pollution. Same thing, yeah. So you got all the top answers except for one. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't have my coffee today.
Maybe that's why. So, Mr. Blackwell here is the one that we mentioned at the end of every podcast. We just wanted to give a special thank you for letting us use all your equipment and back room. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.